Masturbation is bad. Yes or no?
No.
Do you masturbate?
I
yes
do.
or no? You never let me get to the yes.
Sorry. I'm very quick with it. Donald, do you masturbate?
No.
What?
Proud Scout's honor
You've never?
in my entire life.
That is not true.
Because in catechism, the priest told us that is bad. It's a sin. Like the 7 deadly sins. They are things that you just don't do. So where's the middle ground?
My actions are a middle ground. I feel I'm a great masturbator.
Where did you start?
I feel like I was like 8.
No.
You can't be spiritual and masturbate.
No, you can't be spiritual and masturbate. Can you be spiritual and masturbate?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Have you heard of a masturbator ton? What do you think about it?
You see, here's the thing.
How social media helped or hurt the narrative?
It's hurt it, for sure.
True.
What?
That feeds my point.
What point?
This thing that we're doing.
What you're saying is worrying me. Let's actually talk about this.
Did someone teach you how to self-pleasure?
How did you know how to have sex?
That's a great question.
How did you discover self-pleasure? Someone said by climbing the high bar outside in school. Crazy. Oh my God. The worst tool I've ever used to masturbate was the... Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sofi, aka the mother freaking Odditty, guys. Hi guys. I am clearly not home as always. If you're watching on YouTube, we are currently at one of my favorite people in the entire world, someone that you all know and love. We have the most random creative that I know, Donald Ferreira here.
That was my whole government name. Don't look me up.
Donald is back, guys. Donald is here.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Donald. How are you?
Good.
Oh, this thing is not okay. There we go. See, that's better. Why
This
does it
feels
keep
so
like?
weird. You know why?
Why does it feel weird?
Because normally I'm the one that has the headphones.
I know, guys. I'm in love with my voice.
I can't hear anything. So I
Yeah?
hear myself.
Do you now understand how hard it is for me when I'm recording?
That's true.
When you can, because
That
like
means you're
now
literally just like trusted.
I just trust the process, and I hope it works out. Oh, Donald, you sound so good. Donald, I missed you. Give me a hand.
You know what's funny? We've been together for the past 3 hours. She's not asked to hold my hand. What does that say?
What on camera I am. Guys, Donald actually missed me. We did not see each other for a whole month. I didn't realize it was a whole month until Donald came into my house and he actually hugged me. He physically assaulted. He just hugged me and he was like, "Oh, Sophie, I'm gonna see you in a month." And I was like, guys, it's been a month actually since we saw each other. And everyone has been asking about you. So how are you? How have you been?
Honestly, shout out to the pod fam, man. Let me tell you, even though I produce the show,
Okay.
I literally go into every episode. Once we post it, I look at the comments. I'm just waiting to see my name. That's all I care about. It might sound vain, but that's all I care about. And for everyone that writes Donald in the comments, just know I see you. Even on her vlog channel. Like if you mention my name, I get a notification.
No, because Donald, you be in the comments fighting people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
it's
a
the
defender.
weirdest. No, you should just let it go.
No. I'll fight you.
I tell Donald this all the time. Like, Donald, you don't have to respond. Just let it go. It's fine. But he does not like that. But Donald is back, guys. It's been a long couple of months in a good way. The podcast is doing really well for this season. Like, what the actual fudge? Like, isn't that crazy? Also, random. I was talking to someone the other day and they were cursing and they said fudge. They were like, "Oh, you say fudge, right?" And I'm like, "Don't be leading a revolution." Because I don't curse. I say fudge
because of the podcast?
Yeah, because I say fudge instead of fuck. Yeah, that word. Because I curse a lot. I'm trying not to curse because we're trying to be kid friendly over here. But guys, the podcast has been doing really good. I think after my podcast with my mom and just like navigating season 2, this is episode 27, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I feel like we have such a long way to go, but we're like learning as we go. And it's been really, really fun. Our last episode was a solo episode of me just like sharing some things for my birthday. Donald, what did you give me for my... Oh, Donald got me something for my birthday. He got me a fruit basket, which is really sweet. And I was sick, so it was really helpful. I was going to curl you up, but actually, you're right. You got me something.
I give the best gifts.
You do not give the best gifts because
Yes, I do.
You do not. First of all, that's not a gift. That's just a suggestion of a gift because my real gift is coming.
The only reason why I gave you that fruit basket, because any other thing that I would give you, you would probably not use, you would give it out, or you probably not care.
Yeah.
The last birthday,
You're not wrong.
I gave you my original Canon camera from Japan.
Oh my
question to you right now
Where the
is,
fuck is
Sophie,
the camera?
where is my camera?
Where is the camera?
That's it. I just thought about it too. Where is the camera?
No, where's your camera? Where is it?
I don't know. I gave it to you.
Okay, first of all, I'm so grateful for everybody who gives me stuff. Donald, you're a freaking liar. Because Donald gave me a camera that he wasn't using, that he could not figure out how to use.
That's not true.
And you just needed to get out of your apartment.
No.
That's what that was.
Okay, so backstory, right?
Please.
I was into film photography for about 2 years. And if you guys don't know, photographer, passionate, creative here. I was into film photography and I wanted to get a film camera. I did not have the means to fly to Japan. So I ordered this camera from eBay. It was $500 for a camera that does not have a screen. But one thing about film photography is that like buying film is expensive. So now I was thinking about the birthday gift. I was like, oh, Sophie likes to take candid shots and she can actually afford to buy film.
You were lazy and you did not want to actually buy
film.
one
time.
So you wanted to put
one
that
time I used this camera
on me.
and I forgot the photographs at the lab.
So don't even give me that. But okay, I'm known for that. Like that's why when my friends, no one buys me stuff unless I tell you to buy me
But on a
stuff.
serious note though.
I don't know what it
Where's the camera?
Dude, I
I
can't
don't even remember where you were living when I gave you that camera.
It was in Jersey. I was in Jersey, my Jersey apartment. I don't think he left the Jersey apartment. No, I give it back.
No,
you took it back. I think you took it back. I will lie. I think you took it back.
It's in a box.
Don't know.
It was
that box is not anywhere because my life was just packed.
It's like I've
not seen it since I moved out of Jersey, actually.
And it was in your office in the window.
Yeah, no, it wasn't by the window. It was in the closet. Donald, where is that camera?
Because I wasn't there when you moved.
Doesn't matter. See, I wasn't thinking about you on that
when
camera
you moved
when I
from Jersey
moved
to New York. I wasn't there.
Where were you?
I was doing our fight.
Oh wait,
our infamous fight. Yes.
Guys, okay, I forgot about that. Me and Donald did not speak for 6 months.
We tabled like
3 months. It was 4.5 months.
I would say not.
We did not
because
speak.
Like, we were texting here.
Were we texting?
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah. So Sophie would be like, Donald, do you know any editors? Donald, do you know any graphic designers?
I feel like I was doing that just to make you feel like you weren't fully left out.
Yeah.
I really didn't need any of those things.
You know.
I taught him a lesson now. I taught him a lesson now. And look at us now. Did we not grow closer together because of it? I'm a very strict friend, guys. But I'm glad we found our way back, Donald. I'm glad we found our way back, Donald.
We did.
Thank you.
Can I start?
Okay. Oh yes. No. I want to introduce it. Can I just have my thing? I don't know what it is, but I want to introduce it first before we talk. So, because I've been gone for a long time, Donald has been really jealous because we've had a lot of guests on the podcast. And since he was our original first guest, he's been like, he wants to take over for whenever I am at home and he's like in control, that he wants to take over the topics for the podcast. And so Donald has curated this entire episode for you guys. And so if this doesn't do well or this does well, we're blaming it on Donald because I don't know what I'm walking into. All I know is by the time I open this iPad, I'm going to find out what the title is and what chaotic nonsense we're about to talk about today on the podcast because Donald is involved. Okay, Donald, take it away. Okay. What are we about to talk about?
So, if you listened to this podcast before, you know that Sophie's the one that normally does like the little leading into the topic. But this time, I get to do it. And I'm going to pass the question on to Sophie.
You're so freaking
But first,
you're
right?
Actually,
first, I thought this was a great way to start the episode. I saw this story, right? That someone said, I think it was on Reddit, somewhere on the internet. The person said, I remember rubbing the area when I was little and thinking that it felt good. I'm not sure what it was that started it. I think I just kind of started doing it before bedtime. And then it kind of turned into a whenever I was alone thing. Eventually, I started using my Barbies for masturbating. Just the legs of the Barbies. Oh my God. I just thought of it. I used to scissor Barbie. Fuck. That was an epiphany I didn't need at 2 a.m. So my question to Sophie.
No, before you ask that question, I just saw that question. Let me tell you about something. Let me say this story real quick. So we were sitting here, Donald is setting up, right? And I had a little thread on my shirt, or my whatever I'm wearing. And I was like, oh, Donald, do you have a scissor? And Donald was like,
I'm scarred.
He's like, everything I've done about this episode we're about to do, everything reminds me of everything you say. And now I get what you meant by
So,
guys, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. This is a Might Too Loud the fucking podcast. This is a fun conversation because we stand on very different spectrums around this conversation.
yes, and that's I'm so
excited.
I'm so excited to discuss this.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So my question
I'm
to
gonna
you.
take my glasses off because I need to see. Do I look terrible? Can you check? You didn't even check.
It's true.
Guys, today's episode is about masturbation. The M word. Ooh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna repeat a favor. Sophia Tadironke Brian.
You're fucking annoying.
Do you masturbate?
I
yes
do.
or no? You never let me get to the yes.
Sorry. I'm very quick with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Mhm.
Because I think it's like good pleasure.
Good pleasure?
Yeah, I feel like it's like pleasurable to do it.
What do you mean?
Masturbation feels good.
You need to ask me the question.
Oh, so I knew you were waiting for that. That's what I was trying to stalk because I was like, I know you were waiting because you have some really annoying answer to this. Donald, do you masturbate?
No, never have. Proud Scout's honor. I've never done it in my
there's no
entire
way
life.
you've never done that. You've never.
In my entire life.
That is not true.
Donald Aduvier Iferere.
You've never flicked the. Well, that's not what it wouldn't apply to you.
I've never in my life.
You've never attempted it.
No.
You've never. I'm
never.
telling you, like even at 13 years old, you have never.
I have never.
What?
At 13 years old, I was serving mass for the Bishop of Lagos. I promise you, the last thing on my mind.
Sorry, that's so loud.
I thought, yeah, no.
Really?
I never.
Okay, guys, I'm telling
Because
you
in
this right now.
catechism, the priest told us that is bad. It's a sin. Like, the 7 deadly sins, they are things that, like, you just don't do. Okay, so now I want us to understand that. That's just, like, past me, right?
Oh my god.
But my question is,
Oh my god.
how did you discover masturbation? Like, where did it start?
Oh,
You,
God.
the pro masturbator. Honestly,
I love my podcast so much, yo. Like, whoever's
That-
listening to this right now, they're probably like, what the
that
fuck?
title,
Pro masturbator? I don't mind it.
yeah.
Like, let me tell you this right now. Anyone who knows me, like, I'm very much like, if my friends are calling me, I'm like, oh my God, I was just masturbating, give me a second. And they're like, Sophie, what the fudge? But they get so used to it because I'm not, okay, we generally exist on like the 2 hours of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like very much far away. Like how we're sitting right now, guys, if we wish you could see the full frame, is how we exist.
Yeah.
So I can't believe you've never masturbated, Donald. That's so
Never.
weird. Should we keep saying the word? Because I feel like sometimes with, I want to belch it. I don't know why I did that on the
You think
mic.
it's going to like with the algorithm?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe just say the M. I've never M'd before. M maybe just to be safe. Okay, let's do that. Okay, as we were saying, and I only say that because of the algorithm, not necessarily because of I feel like M. I want another word for it. Flicking the bean.
Scissor.
No, because that's like
Barbie?
Barbie's crazy. No, it's a Barbie. The M.
The M.
I never M. Okay.
Because, I mean, the question is, like, how did you discover it?
Yeah. Okay. So I really don't remember. When I was younger, I was never fully like sexually curious. But I will say that like I think because I lived with like my cousins who were boys and girls and everything, like mommy and daddy would do all that shit. Like it was a thing. So let me explain what I mean by that. I mean that like
Which part?
we already like we understood like sex, like because like my older brother was having sex. Like I live with uncles who
And
like
you
bring
knew that?
women home. Yeah, like my mom would have like someone visiting and would know like they were doing something. Like I was never like the kid who just. I don't think they shied away from like speaking about sex around me as a kid. It was never like I was also never the child that my mom would say like keep your virginity or do and like it was definitely an unspoken rule that like because we're not really fully talking about it, you should know not to do it. But I've always, if you know, I've always been a curious child. So I think it didn't help that like I had brothers and siblings and cousins and boys around us who like were already not necessarily sexually active, but were curious. So they would have like corn. Let's do that. They would have corn around, or like we knew they were watching corn in somewhere, something like that. And I would say like as young as like maybe 10. No, maybe 10 is too young. Like I think 10 is fine. Like 10 to 15, I would say. Because that's when I was like, I think even earlier than that. Whoa, why are you smiling?
I keep having flashbacks from like prepping the episode. because I'm so curious about like the age of when this starts. Because for me, I understand why
You didn't
I've
think
never
about
been
it.
into it, right? I
Okay.
was like thrown at 9 years old into an all-boys school, super Catholic.
Yeah.
By the time I even started talking to girls, I was like 16.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I skipped the entire, so I never learned it. But doing the research, like the range of
It's
ages,
very vast.
it's
When
insane.
did you ever masturbate before? Tawny's behind the camera.
Yeah, because we need to know.
We need to know. How old are you? 16? What?
Okay, how old were you?
I feel like I was like 8.
Okay, so I want us to agree. Let's do a small contract here, right?
Okay.
Masturbation is bad, yes or no?
No.
No. Starting to masturbate at the age of 8 is not good because it might be as a result to certain things that you've seen in your environment,
No.
which sped up the process.
No.
Because I'm fine with like someone masturbating at 15, 16. 8 years old is kind of scary. 8 is like you're like in the 5th grade.
Yeah, but 8 also is like you're going to GS1 in Nigeria.
Yeah, right, because GS1 is the 7th grade.
But let's not pretend that like when you're in GS1, you're already not looking at boyfriends and girlfriends at that time. Let's not pretend that. Also, for context, and I feel like I never have to always say this on the podcast, but if you're genuinely watching this and you're a genuine supporter, you understand that conversations like this happen without any prejudice or judgment. So
Yeah,
like,
of course, yeah.
we're not talking about this like, oh, because Donald is saying it from a really religious perspective too, but also from just like, we're humans existing. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk about fun, interesting, weird conversations
I mean,
sometimes.
we disagree
It's
on
okay.
it, but like we're also
not-
still friends.
This is what it should be. This is what life should be. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, masturbation is bad. Relax. Breathe, okay? If you're watching this and you're about to start being, oh, is it? Relax, okay? Your journey is your journey, my journey. I'm not forcing you to put you underside your shokoto. Relax. Let's continue talking.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've talked about like the whole like
Yeah, because like
class thing.
just one and everything. I feel like you're already in boyfriend girlfriend. I will say this.
I
I
don't agree.
understand for sure. That's fine.
No,
Like,
because we also like I went to an all-boys school, you went to a mixed school.
yeah.
So like our development in like that area
'Cause you
is
see,
kind of
it's-
different.
Because like, I mean, so my eye when I think about this is from the perspective of when you tell someone not to do something, they want to do it more. Like, we live in the age now where like 5-year-olds are going to Sephora to put skincare on, right? They already have access to all these things already. And I think sex versus masturbation is very, very different. Like when we were growing up, we remember the Adam Sandler American Pie movies that we all saw growing up. Like that's what I was watching. I
watched
think,
that too.
right? And I think when we saw that, we only saw it from the men's perspective. So I think it's interesting that as a guy here, I feel like people would assume you would be the one who would masturbate more.
Yeah.
But like when I seen that growing up, it's always on, oh, when boys finally realize, oh, the pee can stand, they always want to play around with it. Like it's a normal thing for men to explore, but for a lot of times for girls, they don't explore it. So there's a lot of sexual frustration also because women tend to chase their pleasure by looking to the man because they're like, oh, I can only find pleasure when I break my virginity and when I start having sex. You know what I mean? Which I think is where I sort of like have some issues with it because I found my pleasure pretty early. Like I genuinely was the child who like, I think I wasn't looking for it, but when I found it, I enjoyed it. I think I understood the difference between like an addiction to something versus doing something too much. Does that make sense? I think that's where people like tend to draw the line. So like if you're like, when people smoke, for example, and they're like, oh, I can't function unless I smoke, or I can't function unless I drink. Like there's always an excessiveness to something. Even people who work out. The people who work out so much that like they get really, really bulky and then they can't survive. I think I view stuff like this on that same wavelength. Like I just think things like this are more demonized because of religion, I guess, society,
Right.
and all those other things. Because flicking the bean is just fucking flicking the bean. You have 2 seconds of pleasure and you
agree
move on
with you.
from it.
Right, what you just said, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the stance that I have in regards to guys is the lack of self-control that it can create. And again, this is coming from someone who has never done it, but I've also had conversations with like friends and like about it. And I think like the lack of self-control that it can create in a man, to me, is the unhealthy thing, right? Because you don't want to start something that's like, because I've seen how like demonic it can be to like the friends that I have.
Interesting. I use the word demonic. Explain that to
No,
me.
demonic in terms of like.
That's such a Catholic
Like,
boy thing to say. I just
no,
want
but
to let you know
yeah,
that.
because it's rooted in that, right? But
Yeah,
I think
it is.
a man without self-control is scary.
Most men do not have self-control. I don't think it's limited to just not holding the dick in their hands. I'm so dead ass
I
right now.
agree,
Because
right?
even the men who masturbate still don't have self-control. So I don't necessarily find that parallel. Because like I think you might, and tell me if I'm wrong in this, I think you might draw that parallel because when I first met Donald, guys, like you were very like rigid. You are still very rigid. Like Donald has, I think you have a fear of excessiveness.
Right.
That you think, and I think again that's rooted in like religious upbringing for the most part. You have this fear of excessiveness where you think if you do something too much, you might get addicted to it, and then you can't control it. So I find that when I first met you, you were like, oh no, I go into monk mode where like you spend 3 months where you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't all these things. And when I knowing the person I know even now, whenever when I think back about the things you told me, I was always like, I don't think you need to do any of that because you have really good self-control.
Right.
But I think for you, the level of control the Catholic Church had on you then makes you feel like you need that much structure because or else you think you're flailing around, which again works for you. I'm not saying this doesn't. Like that's just your personality. But like for me, I've never been someone who was in that controlling structure. Like I always, even within the Islam or like family being religious and very strict, I still was a child who was like, no.
But I think I agree with what you're saying, but I think the whole ejaculation process with men is a little bit different.
How?
Because like it feels too easy to just like stroke your penis whenever you want and like you be tired. And genuinely with like have you ever heard of post-nut clarity? That post-nut clarity that you get as a guy, doing that and being tired just by yourself, honestly, I think men are already too lonely to like give themselves like that.
Okay. I have the perfect reasoning behind that. This is all just speculation and Sophie's brain thinking.
Yeah,
I think the issue with that is because men aren't fulfilled in a lot of other areas. So for me now, when I think the rose toy was trending a lot on TikTok, right? And I remember like when girls were saying they were gonna flick the bean, generally like for a lot of women mostly, it's a very like romantic, fun process.
Okay.
Like it's not necessarily like I'm just do because it takes us a bit more time to get to men. So even the fact that we know it's gonna take us a while to fully enjoy it, there's a process that needs to happen, right? Where like you're sitting down. Some people even on candle, they'll on lights, they'll do different. I'm telling you, like
the men are definitely not doing
they're
that.
not doing that. But you see how I mean? But like it's how you treat yourself that matters in this particular situation. Like I understand the ease with you like do you're done, but there's also an option to not make it that easy for yourself and make it an intentional process, because it's the same way men, when they want to fuck women, they just don't care. Like there are men who would just or get to an hotel room, sit down, bring the woman in.
Like it doesn't matter. Right.
They won't try to do foreplay. They don't try to see if she's ready or not. They just stick the thing in, come out, they nut, and then they go, post-nut clarity. It's the same thing. Why are we then not equating using masturbation and them doing the same thing with women, an actual human being next to them, and saying that's not bad? Because then in my thinking, if you're not masturbating but you find a woman you really like and you're attracted to, you fuck her, you might do it quick, you might not do it quick, but you did it. That's better because at least you didn't just ejaculate on your stomach, you did it on someone else. Does that make sense to me? I don't understand like that correlation, because it should be better that you're not using another human who might have emotions and feelings and all that stuff to get to that post-nut clarity if you can do it yourself. And the fact that you might feel lonely after doing something that should give you pleasure and some level of, apparently science says if you masturbate even often, that it helps you live longer, some shit like that.
For what?
For masturbating.
Yeah, but also for men, if you masturbate too much, you would, please do not quote me on this.
Yeah.
It would lead to like low sperm count.
That's not true. That's just like no, actually, no,
it's like a shame thing.
Yes, it's a shame thing.
Okay.
And also, like, it doesn't at all. I just want to point that I'm listening to you right now. That is not true.
Are you sure?
Very, very sure. Tolani's Googling it
Can
behind us.
research
too.
it so we can
Because like, and also, if you drink too much, you can get liver disease.
No,
If you smoke too much,
see, I think
if you fuck someone, you could get STDs.
No,
There's
I think
so many
the
things.
importance. I think when the conversation with men,
Mind you,
right?
let me pass the first.
No, I know. The conversation with men, right? The
Uh-huh.
conversation around, like, especially like with my friends, is that like lack of self-control is really big,
Okay.
right? Like, it's really big because like we're already lonely, we're isolated,
Yes.
right? Guys are isolated. A lot of men are watching porn in their rooms, right? And I think for me, I don't think like it's a conversation around like masturbation and self-pleasure is bad. I think it's like I would rather like the guy go out and like not isolate himself. Because I think for a man, if you're someone who you're like masturbating a lot, more likely than none, you would not even like want to try to like go out. Because men are already like, a lot of men are scared to approach women, right? They're scared to get into the dating market.
Yeah.
A man who is watching porn in his house, masturbating, is not leaving his home. And we know these people exist, like on the internet, right? Like they exist. This is why like the OnlyFans models are making so much money.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's, to me, is that, you know, because he does something in a man, like versus like, I think for women, you see what you even described, it's like the celebration.
Yeah.
And maybe men need to,
I just think fathers need to just teach their children how to.
I agree.
Like it's like
that conversation doesn't even happen.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy for me is like, whenever I hear men complain, love you guys, not really. Whenever I hear men complain about something, right? Because we live in a patriarchal society. You guys set the tone for a lot of things to happen. And that's not, I know it just seems like a cop-out, but it genuinely is the thing. It's like if you had a son now, you're passing this lingo and language to the person about self-control and whatever. But that's also not necessarily a fact. It's a feeling, like a thing that you've been taught. There's not necessarily like any research on, okay, is this good or not? Is this proper or not? Like, is this, because like, it's different for like a religious father who's like, okay, my child don't do this and do that. And then for the most part, the child will not end up saying, oh, I want to actually do that because my father said I shouldn't do it. Like there's no patience and thought behind something like masturbation, especially when kids are young. Like fathers just be like, oh yeah, I did it when I was younger too, it's fine, they'll figure it out. Men don't teach each other sexual...
What is the right way to approach that? How does a father...
way. I don't know.
Because like...
Oh wait, what's the answer, Tolani?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, it actually is healthy.
Like, you know what's crazy to me? It's like, scientifically, there's a lot of things that like are good, but we tend to, because the pleasure in itself, how do I explain this properly? Pleasure is something that we don't oftentimes get to give ourselves as humans. Like there's very few things in the world that we can find within our bodies to give us pleasure. That's the one thing that is like guaranteed. If you do, you're gonna feel pleasure, right? So for anyone who's not doing it well or right, you're going to do it too much, and that's where you get the man loneliness epidemic and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily think masturbation is bad. I think masturbating too much could be bad. Masturbating without social cues or interaction is bad. Maybe you might not want the joints relationship, whatever. But then I also know people who started fucking at a really, 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 really young age, and they still are like whores who have sex with 3 women in one day or 3 women, in 2 hours. And that to me is even worse. Like, for me, weighing all of that.
Because at least when you masturbate, you're alone and
like
nobody
in
gets
my head,
pregnant.
I would rather you just sleep in your house. I flick your nonsense. Like I would rather you do that than interact with women.
But it's like that,
because you're looking for a means to
so
an end.
where's the middle ground, right? Because
I think my actions are a middle ground. I feel I'm a great masturbator.
I agree. I agree. I think okay.
But you see how like, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I do mean to interrupt a lot. I'm trying to work on it,
because
guys.
like this leads me to talk about like shame, right? Because I feel like for me, where I stand right now is like I don't believe masturbation is bad, right? Would I ever masturbate? No.
Why?
But it's just like because it's ingrained in my brain that like the shame, I would hate myself if I did it. I would. But it's not even like I would, because I'm just like, it's easy and I don't have to. And I understand that like, oh my God, like I love my body, like the candle and all of that. But I genuinely don't want to do that. Like I would rather share that experience with someone. And I don't think that's bad. I think for someone who wants to share the experience alone,
exactly,
please do. Please stroke that. Please, just no, like please
No,
enjoy yourself.
I genuinely like that.
Okay.
Because what you said was bringing it with someone and you made it sound special. You know what I mean? Like, if you are of the opinion that sex and release in that way should be something shared, I commend you for that. Like, that's good. That's a normal way of thinking. Like, I'm never going to say, no, man. Like, no. Like, if that's how you think, that's fine. My pushback would only ever be if you're saying that as like, oh, instead of masturbating, I'd rather just, if I need a release, I'm going to go find someone to get. No. And I don't think you do that. I think you just run.
Right.
Yeah, which makes sense. I was going to say something I forgot earlier, didn't I?
Shit. What are you going to say?
I forgot. What were we talking about before we said it? I forgot. My ADHD, bro.
I want to make sure we don't like dive too far.
Because we already dove. I was saying I'm a good masturbator. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes, tell us.
I'm a very good masturbator.
Tell us the process, Sophie.
Okay, shut up. But you know what's cool about this conversation? I feel like this is something that's so taboo, but as we're talking about it, we have someone in the room who's like, doesn't feel uncomfortable talking about it. And I think that's what I always want to release stigmas around things. Like, it really should not be dirty. This doesn't need to be a sex podcast, something for you to feel like this is a weird conversation to have. Like, it's normal, you guys. It's okay. Okay, as I was saying. But I think I'm a solid masturbator because like, I think I do it. I don't even know. I don't do it too much. I don't do it less than enough. I just do it when I want a release or when I need it. And I think about it like a workout. That's literally how I think about in my mind anyways. Like, I feel like it's a workout for me. Like, oh, this is another check off my list if I need to. Like, a thing, like, it's like ice cream or lollipop for me. Is that weird?
It's not weird. I think we also have two different organs. And the relationship to the organs is very interesting.
I would hope so.
For me, I see my penis as like a second person. Like I think he has a brain of his own. Because when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, bro, what you're thinking is not what I'm thinking right now. And like since I was like 11, I've been waking up like that, right? And I'm like, bro, we're not aligned.
But I feel like that.
But I think for women, it's like y'all are way more aligned with your organ. I believe so.
I push back.
The act is not as like, to me, the act of like using your hand to hold like your male like genitals is crazy to me.
Really?
It's so crazy.
What?
To me, like honestly, it's the same way. Honestly, I'm going to say something very fucked up right now.
Tell me.
When I think about like a man and a man having sex versus a woman and a woman. I think about a woman and a woman and I think like, oh my God, that is so great.
Why?
I think about a man and a man and I'm like, WTH.
Really?
H?
Yes.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Do you understand what I mean? Like, and I don't know why. You guys can let me know in the comments like why that's like.
I think it's internalized misogyny, such homophobia. / just self-hatred.
Yeah, because like, and I'm like, why is that? Because that's that organ, that guy, I'm like, bro, you're doing too much right now. And for me, I want to, school, baby. But I want to control that guy. That's why I would never give him that power. To me, I'm like, why? No. Because the other part, when I'm with someone, I work for that. Do you know what I mean? I work for that. I love this person. I care about this person. But you see, like, me just like sitting in the room. Now it's like me and you confronting each other. Where this thing that we're doing.
What you're saying is worrying me. Let's actually talk about this.
I'm telling you, every single man who watches this, majority of men who watch this would have the same opinion, whether they do it or not.
I don't think so.
No. I swear to God, they will have the same opinion.
No. Opinion about probably men and women, yes. But I mean more so like opinion.
Their relationship with their.
No. I think it's different. Wallahi, I think it's different. I've never heard a man speak about it like this. I think your Catholic upbringing is showing out real.
What I'm talking about is true conversations with guys. Like, this is like.
Maybe your friends are very interested because this is the first time I'm here and I've spoken to a lot of men about their penis.
Also, I also have friends. I've spoken to a lot of men. I also have friends where like we have conversations around like, you know, not having too much sex and like limiting that because like
I think it's your religious upbringing, babes.
No, but these friends are not religious.
No, it doesn't matter. Like it's a lot of like thing. Also, like within our culture, true is crazy. Within our culture, true. There's a lot of shame when I hear what you're saying. I want to respect everything you said, and then I want to like break it down a little bit.
No, respect it.
No, because like it's your no. I know, but also like I want to also like the things are valid. You know, like, you feel this way. I'm not going to change your mind.
Thank you.
Of course, I appreciate you so much. Weird. No, because like first of all, I think when you say your organ and you are separate people is an interesting thing to say. Because, like, really?
Because they're not.
No. I think, again, I say your Catholic upbringing or your religious upbringing because that's something that I think we're raised to think of. Like, don't let it control you.
Yeah.
Like, take care of it, control it yourself. Don't let it show you that kind of thing. I think that's something that you've had set in your head so many times. And then on the flip side for women, it's oftentimes like we don't even get to have that conversation. Very few women have the understanding of masturbation. Like I think there's a lot more shame involved for girls learning to masturbate than for men. Like for me, I've just been always curious and about my body in general. Like I would stand in my room and be like, what's that? Why do you look like that? But I know a lot of young girls who they don't even open their legs. Like I have friends who don't masturbate because they just don't want to put anything in there. They don't want to touch it. They're waiting for their man to touch it for them. Like it's crazy because that's your body. Like
and there's some women who have like never orgasmed before and they don't know because they've never also explored.
Like I know women who got married as virgins to a man and like they think their pleasure is linked to that relationship and that person because they've never fully explored what that pleasure could be. Now, for a lot of reasons, that could be religious, could be culture, could be anything else. Like there's female genital mutilation, for fucking example, of how like women, our pleasure is sort of chained and pushed from us, right? So even then, I hear what you're saying and I'm like, it's so much harder for women to find a way to explore that pleasure. That's why I also want to advocate for more women to just explore their bodies. Like, and it's not a shameful thing for you to know your body and enjoy it and like it and find pleasure in it. And I think the issue with what you're saying about speaking with your man or your boy, I don't know what to call him. The guy, like, is the way you speak about it feels like an other when it's a part of you. Like me and her, we go together real bad, right? And what's funny
Same here when we're doing things together, not when we're thinking separately.
But that's the thing though. You were not necessarily thinking separately because...
Have you ever had that moment? I don't know if this happens to women.
Like you're horny but you don't want to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But you're not thinking separately. It's something that's mind over heart. Like you could be in love, but you know that's not the right thing for you. That's how I would think about that same situation too. It's like... There's sometimes when your body says you should go work out, but you don't want to work out, so you don't want to do it.
Right.
I don't think it needs to be that much of an importance put on an organ that gives you pleasure in that way. I think society has forced you to put that amount of strictness and rigidity on that particular organ because it says anything. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. So don't try to do it. Don't fight it. Don't force it. So like I think that's where my thought process comes in. Like I have a friend right now who like she's used a vibrator and stuff, but she's never actually used a dildo. And for folks who are new or don't know, like a dildo is an actual like inserting something in you versus like just vibrating the clitoris itself. Which for me, when she said that, I was like, oh, why? She's like, oh, like I don't want to disvirgin myself. I don't want to do something. I was like, girl, that's not how that works. Like I understand that. And then I've never used the dildo. Like I don't put anything in me either. I just use a vibrator. And we talked about it recently. And I also realized it was me also unlearning that I just didn't like penetration because of my history. If you've watched the first episode of the podcast, you understand why. Like I just didn't like that version of like inserting something. So I just never did it. But for her thinking of it was also the same reason. Because like she'd gone through something that took that particular area of pleasure. So now I'm on a mission. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do that because I don't want someone else to have that power over me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like how I'm thinking about it. And I'm not thinking about it from a shameful perspective. I just thought, I was like, oh, this is something I've never done before because I thought I didn't like it. But I'm now realizing, oh, it's because of my trauma. So now I want to learn my body. Like even with inserting, we've been taught like we can't insert tampons because you're going to lose your virginity. And I tried using a period cup once and I shoved my hand in there. And I was like, I've never been this close to this girl ever in my life. And it was something that like, I swear, you guys might think I'm dramatic, but it warped my brain. Right. Like actually having a full relationship with your body is so freeing. Like nobody should have to tell me what I need to do about my body. Like, and everything you're saying makes sense because like you are very clear on what you want with your body. So you and your man understand each other. I want more people to actually ask themselves the reasons why they don't do certain things. Right. If it's religion, valid. If it's shame, okay, I wouldn't say valid, but you know, if it's cultural, if it's trauma based, if it's just I don't care about it, like it's okay as long as like we do ask ourselves why we don't do certain things. Okay, let's move on now because I feel like we've not even done anything.
As you were talking about it, I'm thinking and I'm like, you know, the thing that you said that happened to you like with the episode, that we did, right? Like from episode 1.
Yeah. Even now I joke about it.
No, I think even that is one of the reasons, right? Because I often see a lot of, because like nobody's perfect, right? But I often see a lot of men, you know, do like egregious things like in the world, and I'm like, that's what I talk about when it comes to self-control, right? Because it's like, I think it's more of like training, right? And like, I think like for a priest, right? Like a priest is like, oh, like I'm not gonna have sex, right? And obviously if you grow up around that environment, it's like just choosing not to do something, not because like it's going to be the end of the world if you do it, but it's like that creates like a certain kind of like character of someone who would also kind of just like, you know, when you're afraid of yourself, right? Because like at the end of the day, you see people do certain actions and you're like, this person is also a man. So it's like, it's just like wiring your brain
to figure it out
in that way.
Because I see when you're talking now, I was thinking about it from like porn addiction versus masturbation, like how that is correlated to. Because a lot of people too, they start masturbating because of porn. So they see porn, they find the pleasure, they do it together. And like for a lot of people too, that also leads to like over sexualization of themselves, of women, of people around them. That's also different versus like masturbating where like it's you on your mind, which I think is also an interesting way to like keep your mind healthy. This is so random. So I actually read a study on it. I forgot where I read that from, where if you're not necessarily focusing on porn and you're able to like find that pleasure within yourself, that's why I think a lot of girls, when they do it, they're not actually watching something. They're literally just them and their pleasure and their bodies. It's such a holistic experience.
But how many people are doing that though?
No, I don't know. I'm not counting the people that are looking at being.
No, because I think like
it might. You would be surprised. You'd be surprised of
that
how.
sounds healthy.
Yeah, but that's also the same way like eating can be healthy or unhealthy. Like life is.
I don't think it's the same thing.
I think it's the same thing.
Because that attachment of you watching something, or I don't know, like flipping.
When I want to eat, I have to
Instagram
watch.
page.
When I want to eat, I have to watch TV, or I don't enjoy my food. It's a little thing. And I know like you feel like that's a very trivial contrast.
But is that a good thing?
I don't know.
The inability to like eat food if you're not watching something.
Like, but that's a thing. Like we've started like iPad kids are a thing now, right? We're like, if we're on the toilet, we're scrolling on our phones. We've been skits where
our
like
brains are getting fried.
Yeah, right. But like, that's the same correlation to if you're doing porn, if you're watching porn and you want to masturbate too with it. Like that one I don't like. I don't enjoy porn addiction. It's very over sexualization. Like the porn industry is very terrible to women and men and honestly people of color. We understand that. But again, like there's always the bad end of the spectrum and the good end of the spectrum essentially. Like I never want to always have conversations where we're only focused on the fact that like
I agree,
it's a really, really bad thing when there's also the good of it, and everything in life just needs balance. And yin and yang is a fucking thing for a reason.
I think that's what I struggle with, because when you say balance, it's like who chooses?
You. I think self-pleasure is a very intentional thing because it's self-pleasure. Like it's you and yourself, right? Like you have to have such a strong mind to be able to limit and control what you can do and what you can't do. I'll give you an example. You don't drink, right? And then when you drink, like when I met you, you didn't drink for like 4 months, 6 months, and then you started drinking, and then you realize that, like, I don't like how I feel when I drink, or I don't, or I do. You know what I mean? Like
I drank 2 weeks ago. No, because
no, but you know what I mean? Like
but,
it's like I think it's the same thing with masturbation. Like you can choose
not
whether or not you like it or not, but do that based on how you feel like it impacts you. I think my issue, and I don't want to use the word issue, but my thing with you when you talk is it feels it's very heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavily based on your upbringing. Not necessarily like for me, I would never say no to something I've never done. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that you have to.
So, but that's the thing, right? But I think in this case, I have a clear idea.
You don't.
And I do.
You don't.
I do.
You know why I say you don't?
I've had intercourse.
Yeah, but
so I know.
No. You can't say that for 100% unless you've done something
for the sake
actively.
of not being graphic, right? I'm not gonna sit down, right? Get my really nice Neutrogena, La Roche-Posay.
Why do you think?
You know? Honestly,
don't know.
Granite oil.
That's how you know.
I'm not gonna take that and sit down. What am I thinking about? What is going on? And I'm just gonna think about it. The organ looks like this mic. Why?
Why not?
What do you mean? When like,
Why not?
why?
Why not?
It's too much.
No, it's not.
It is.
I don't think so. Excuse me. I really don't think so.
Did someone teach you how to self-pleasure?
Did someone teach you how to self-love?
What do you mean?
Like, did someone teach you how to love yourself?
No. I mean like the act.
Did someone teach you?
How did you know?
How did you know
What did
how
you
to
watch?
follow? How do you know how to love yourself?
You just know because you love yourself.
Just,
I love myself. That's why
how
I'm not
did
going
you
to
know?
subject
How did you
myself.
no? How did you know how to have sex?
How did I know?
Yeah.
That's a great question. No, because for me, it's quite interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know that like women were even supposed to be in my class till I was in like the 9th grade. I was like, oh wow, there are no girls in this class.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated, I got to university, girls were like talking to me and putting my hand under their pants and stuff.
Okay. Well, that just is
Honestly, I would say like
right.
the first set of women that I ever met taught me, and they're like, oh, like this is what I want. And I'm like, and I'm also like, if I like you, like
How old were the women who taught you?
my age.
Okay. Thank God. African men stress me out all the time when
Yeah,
they
you think
start
I was
these
gonna say
stories.
like
Because the amount of men I've heard, for especially African
that
men,
have had like a
that they would
older-
be like, "Oh, I'm 11," and my maid who was 37 at the
Oh,
time
no,
put
no,
her,
no,
"Oh
no,
my,"
that never happened to me.
and they'd be so confident, shining their teeth too, like, "Oh my God, yes, my maid taught me." You were molested.
You know, I was
babe.
about to say, thank God that did not happen to me. But then I was like, I
It
also
did.
had like male like maids. Thank God that did not happen to me, but that would have been crazy.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Like,
no.
that would have been crazy.
My heart went up a bit.
Yeah, but
okay.
my age mates.
Okay. I feel like I push back on that because how do you know if you want to? How do you know how to love yourself? How do you know how to work out? How do you know how to have sex? How do you know how to have sex? People taught you, right?
Mhm.
I think that's the same thing.
I think it's the connotation, right? Because when I think about masturbation and stuff, I think about corn.
See?
And I also don't like corn and what it
Okay.
has done to society.
Exactly.
I think that's the...
You have such negative views of this thing, babe.
No, I do. And
you really do.
I
It
wrote
should
something
not
down
be.
here. Have you
Okay.
heard of a masturbator-ton? So like
What's
a
that?
marathon, but a masturbator-ton.
Where you try to masturbate for how long?
Okay, so it's an event where participants masturbate to raise money for charity and increase the public awareness and dispel the shame and taboos that exist about this form of sexual activity.
Mm-hmm. You don't think that's good?
I have mixed feelings. What do you think about it?
I think that's really cool because I just read the Wikipedia page and it also said it was raising money from like women's health, cancer,
Mhm.
HIV, AIDS, and all that thing.
Which is beautiful.
You see, here's the thing. Like, I want to go on a tangent here. Sex is such a big thing in our society because of how taboo we've made it. You know that, right? Like, men feel entitled to women's bodies because of how society has made sex. We have corn because of how society has made sex. Everything is literally surrounded how society has told us we have to view this act, right? Because if you think about it, before the Abrahamic religions, we lived in very like morally corrupt societies, right?
Yeah.
That's what the Bible sort of like tells us, or the
It's very
Quran, right?
intense.
Where it was like people were fucking left and right. We had women and women. We've seen the images, like titties out, everything, right? In those societies, the lack of, I guess, hiding it, or like the way it wasn't sort of like policed, allowed it to sort of not be as taboo. And then we see how, based on that, there was restrictions. The religion came into play. Based off of what I know, right? Religion came into, because I'm like, people can say like religion has always been there, blah blah blah. But based on that, religion came into play, and then slowly but surely, it became a thing of like shame. Like you're only gonna have sex when you get married to only one man for the rest of your life.
Because it started like
There's a
killing
lot of
people
like
and
policing,
stuff.
exactly. But we've heard stories of like women having this power because like the men, they won't offer the men sex until something. When they did offer, it was like nothing. Like for women, there was a lot more power involved in that. And then we've gone to a society now where it's been so restrictive and so based on shame that's where we have issues, like sex shops being put in hiding, people only watching porn in secret. We've made it too policed to where people are not free to explore.
Right.
And we know because everybody knows when you tell people not to do something, what do? They do the thing.
They do it.
They find ways to do it. So even as a kid, if your parents are telling you don't have sex, don't do this, don't do that, and there's no explanation as to why. Like for me, I was just saying talking to a friend the other day, and they said how their little cousin apparently like got piercing, and then after that, like they have a boyfriend, they might be having sex, all that stuff. And I was like, I wonder at what age I would, if I had a child, I would want my child to like have that conversation. I realized that I don't think if I had a child, I'm not a mom here, I think I would make sure I explained to them. I would make sure I explain to them the reasoning behind it. Like, not because, sex is bad, or I'm like, sex is this person's gonna put something in you, and then there's a potential for you to have a baby. If you're not ready for that responsibility, for that intensity, for all of that stuff, then you shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's less of, it's bad, it's policing, don't do this to your body, It's, for me, it's less of that and more of like, I want you to understand the gravity of something. For a lot of society, men are told, you can just, doom, you're done. There's no control taught. There's no importance put on it. There's nothing like that. They can watch porn all they want. And then women are the ones who are policed. So now we live in a society where women are running away and the men are wanting it. And there's a demand and supply gap. Right, the men want it, the women aren't giving it, or the women feel like they can't give it because they're being policed and sex shamed and all that stuff.
For the men from that self-pleasure state would actually help, right? So when they actually deal with people, at least they can start that.
I think nobody should be policed at all, because I feel like sex is such a sex versus masturbation. Because we're talking about two different things now.
Yeah, I'm talking about self-pleasure and how that leads
I think self-pleasure should always be at the core of it. Self-pleasure. Like self-love, intimacy, all that stuff, that is different from having sex with someone, right? And I think there is a direct correlation with how you treat yourself when you are masturbating, how you deal with that, versus how you, because if you've always, if you started self-pleasure by watching porn and your search is hardcore and BDSM, and then you go out and you meet a normal girl and that's what you expect from her without conversation, that's crazy. But I also know people who use their brains, research, understand that BDSM is not something that you take with force, but more so about like understanding with each other. Find somebody who also enjoys BDSM, and then they have a full relationship. Does that make sense to you?
I see what you're saying. So I think to the men, right, is about like being in control and being a lot more intentional about how you practice self-pleasure. Not like not doing it, right? Because a lot of people are leaning into like corn and all these things that like actually,
that's the first time they hear it,
are affecting the brain versus like I think for me is like, I think about it like cocaine, for example, right? When I think about like that powder, I'm like, don't try it, eliminate it. And that's the same way I'm thinking about it versus like, it's not the same. I think the cocaine here would be the corn and the other things that are surrounding it than the actual thing.
Yes. Which is interesting.
Light that candle, boys.
Light that candle, boys is crazy. All right.
I want to bring up an interesting point.
Okay.
Because this conversation around like self-pleasure being normalized for men and shamed for women, I agree. But I think because of my stance, I think I've taken it as a shame for myself. But I think I understand that like for a lot of men it's not.
But even the fact that you think of it as a shame to yourself, in some way could also manifest in like a disdain in general for a lot of people, not necessarily you, for women and acts and the sex of it all, because like there's also a lot of repression that comes with not masturbating. You have a partner, and for anyone who don't know, Donald is a chronic relationship person, meaning you're constantly in a partnership, which some can also equate to, because you're not doing XYZ, you're finding pleasure in also having a partner almost all the time.
If I would, because
if you're single, you're just gonna be a terrorist.
No fap 2 years. Can you imagine me loaded up for like 2? But that's the thing. Like, even if I did not have a partner, I think like I would have sexual partners.
But see, you see what I'm saying? So like, even that to me is interesting that you would equate that pleasure to wanting it to be. Because even then, like, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just interesting.
How social media helped or hurt the narrative?
It's hurt it, for sure. Like, it's so interesting because like over the past couple of years though, I would say it's been interesting because we've had like the pussycat pill for girls, Let Me Play, like Let Me Gummy by Kourtney Kardashian has been a huge thing for women's pleasure. I think in the past, in the past decade, this push for women to find their pleasure, find themselves, has also shifted in a way around women not getting married anymore. Women not like, there's now a huge drive and uptick of women just being more independent and like seeking their own pleasure. What?
That feeds my point.
What point?
That feeds my point.
That what?
If I swear to God, I truly believe that if I was like a masturbator,
No. I'm saying
I would
because
not need anybody.
no, I'm saying because women are now finding their pleasure.
That's what I'm saying. I would not need anybody.
Yeah, that's not true.
That's scary.
That's not true. That's like you
But
going
isn't
to
that what you're saying?
No, that's what you're going to the extreme end. There are women who are doing this and still wanting partners.
But we're talking about the ones who are like not wanting.
No, but
partners.
the issue with that is like a lot of times people, because we think about partnership as like what we're supposed to do, but people are forgetting that humans are humans. I don't understand this idea that people need to find partners to find happiness, especially if we were in a society where like we were told for so long by the church, by communities that we need to get married at a certain age.
Right.
That was it. Nobody's teaching you how to be a good partner, how to be a good wife, how to be a good husband.
Right.
All we knew is like people needed to get married. And then now we had terrible divorce rates. People were terrible fathers, terrible mothers. Kids were growing up unhappy. We've heard stories. There are people with great marriages and people with terrible marriages. So it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Everything that honestly matters, especially in partnerships, is if the person in the relationship is fulfilled. Like those are the partnerships that actually really work, right? If two people are whole and they choose each other to figure this life shit out together. Right. And for a lot of times, most people aren't whole when they get into partnerships. Like you're a 23-year-old getting married to a 36-year-old. What do you know at 23? Right. At 36, you're a bastard. Because why are you going to meet a 23-year-old? Right. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, no offense. I don't judge. I judge.
No, it's true.
But you know what I mean? I'm sorry. Like, that to me is the frustrating part. So when you say stuff like, oh, it feeds your point, not necessarily, because if we all thought about it, women are not in a space where they want the intentionality, they want the support, but it's not happening because men aren't able to catch up. Right. And that's where the discrepancy is coming from. It's not because, people are going to be more lonely. It's because we're not growing at the same rate. We had a timeline, right, where men were doing, because we've seen those movies growing up. American Pie was very heavy on male dominated. You can fuck and you can party and you can do this.
I think when I watched those movies too, I didn't like that image,
but also
of those guys.
Compare it to your upbringing and then seeing that image. Right. So that was also a thing that like factored in to how you received that. Right. But there are also young men who received that and went, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. So we grew up with a generation of men who think it's honestly cool for you to masturbate and not give a fudge about women, not have emotional awareness, not have emotional clarity, not be kind to women, not be good because you're chasing them for your own pleasure. Because if a man isn't masturbating, he's chasing a woman for his own pleasure when he can get that pleasure himself. And if you're then getting your pleasure yourself and you think to yourself, oh, then I'm going to be single, then do you think a woman is only useful to you because of sex or because of more than that? Because like you said, oh, then I wouldn't need anyone. A woman should not only be...
It's just the fear.
But that's the thing. See what I'm saying? Like, where is that fear rooted in? Because
it's rooted in my knowledge of what I think my personality is and me trying to preemptively like
guard something. But you also can't know something unless you try. And I'm not, please do not try it. Because you won't honestly know.
I think this is something I'm also learning to in other areas of my life, right? That I'm someone who like...
You're all in.
Honestly, yesterday, for example, I took a different route when I was driving, coming from the grocery store. Yeah. Normally, I wouldn't have taken that route. I'm that person who would be like, I'm not taking that route. I want to take the route that I know. Yeah. But I took the other route and I got to see like the scenery of the city. Now, I don't know if I'm going to like do the thing so I can see the scenery of the city. We're not going to do that.
I saw this. I don't know if you've watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah. Okay. Best. So someone said that as humans, we have a timeline. I might not explain this as right as this TikTok is. I don't know if I sent this to you. I should send it to you. But a guy was basically saying that like when they said, in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, for you to jump into an alternative timeline, you have to do something quirky. Yeah. Like you would, slap somebody with a finger thing or like chug or eat a Pepsi and a Coke, something like that. And he was like, people were like, why were you doing random actions? It's because as humans, we have direct actions in our timeline that is within our system. So you have routines. So as a normal person, when I wake up, I do this, I do that, I go home. Like it will be so off. I'm a weirdo, so it might not be for me. But for most people, it will be off to have someone like Donald, like wake up in the day and say, you know what? He feels like he wants to jump in the Hudson River today.
Yeah, it's not happening.
That was never happening, right? Yeah. But if you did that, the person who jumped in the Hudson River was not the same Donald because you've shifted your timeline and your energy into something else. You've changed something in the future because that means you've tweaked something in your brain to tell your brain, oh, I'm not following my actual system. I'm doing something different. Very few people have that knowledge to do something different.
Right.
And I wish more people did. Because that's what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be trial and error. And we have systems in place that tell us to not do certain things, right? Like not have sex, not do this, which is valid because there's certain things that need to be policed, like weed and drugs like cocaine, sex, all these things need to be policed because of how much you can go, how far you can go down the rabbit hole if you do it too much. But also, why don't we then just teach people the reasons why? Because they're going to always be bad eggs, but they're also going to be normal eggs who just do it to do it.
Such a good movie, by the way.
Everything Everyone's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Take some time for yourself, man. Like, I wish we did. I really wish that, I don't know how, you know how Trevor Noah does the If I Ruled the World?
Mm-hmm.
If one of my If I Ruled the World would be, I wish that at some, like our pivotal forming age, maybe like 13 to 16, we had like self days or some shit like that, where for like 2-3 hours a day or once a week or something, you just got time for you. Like, and you had activities that would teach you about yourself, about your body, about your mind, about your spirits, that didn't have external noise. I think at some point after our parents, we tend to be so like bombarded by so many people's thoughts and opinions about ourselves that shape how we then become adults.
Right.
And the people who I think go farther in life are people who question everything. Right. So why do I need to do this? Why shouldn't I use a tampon? Why can't I have sex till marriage? Why can't I do this? Why should I wear the hijab? Why? And I'm not saying that as long as your answers satisfy you, then you're good. Right. Because I think for me I grew up always saying, no, I don't know why I should do that. Let me find out. I don't know why I should do that. Let me find out. You become a cooler human. Right. Because even if you do arrive at whatever decision, because you went through the rigorous process of questioning it, you have understanding and empathy for people who are still figuring it out or who have different opinions, because you respect that. Right. Like every time you're talking now, I'm like, I push back, but I understand where you got to your decision. So I'm not knocking you for it. Right. I'm not saying you're wrong or right, because it's your belief system. It's you. Like whatever you say makes sense because you've lived your life. Like if you feel like that's the way you want to live your life, all I can do is understand and respect. That's why I kept saying I respect it, because in society right now, we tend to just say, your way is wrong, my way is right. Who the fuck are you? Right. Who are you to tell me my way is wrong or right? That's not true. Like, if you're someone who does not want to masturbate, absolutely, please do not masturbate. It's not my opinion. My only thing would be your decision has to be based on your rigorous process on why and why not. Like, I would never try cocaine. I've tried mushrooms. I've tried edibles. Yeah. I know my body reacted to it. I've researched. I'm not even joking here. I've researched the drug because I've been at parties where people had cocaine, and I don't like when people tell me not to do something, but I also was like, let me actually find out how this affects your body. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something I wanted to. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not something I want to do. Oh, I could try it. If it's anything like, no, thank you. You know what I mean? But I want to try ashwagandha. Like, I want to go on an ashwagandha retreat. I want to go on those like blindfolded retreats where like they blind you for like 5 days and you're going to like be in the dark. And I want to try because I think that's cool. Yeah. And I researched it. There are people who also would never try it. I want to jump the Grand Canyon. I don't think that's a dumb idea, but I want to try it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're able to live life interested in trying, I think that's all you can do. Right. Okay, you tell me.
I think one thing I love about philosophy, is the fact that, like, and I will second what you're saying, that we're here to ask questions, not to find the answers. Okay. I think one thing I'll tell my young self is to like ask more questions, because I feel like I did a good job of asking questions. Yeah. But a lot of my questions were rooted in more outward society things than inward, like what's going on with myself. And I think the shift that's happened to me, especially this year, is a lot more like internal questions. Like social problems, anything that's going on in the world, I'm researching those things. When we talk about me particularly, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I'll just say like ask more questions, and yeah, don't listen to those priests, man.
Because think about it. So with priests, right? We've heard about priests that will like, who our young boys.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm someone who's looking into the religion, I'm like, oh, that's bad because, this happens. But again, that's bad eggs in a community of people who are not bad people.
Right.
Right. There are nuns who choose like to not have sex at all because they're nuns. Like, I'm not someone who's like, oh, no, don't do it. Like, no, I don't think that's right. I think it's just how you arrive at your answer just matters. As long as you question things, I think that's okay. And I was going to say something and I got distracted. Fudge. I forgot. It's okay.
Okay. So we're getting to the end of the episode.
I see your lightning round, rapid fire reactions, Donald. You're a crackhead.
You can't be spiritual and masturbate.
1, 2, 3, go. No.
No.
Wait, what does that mean? I don't know. Yes or no?
You can't be spiritual and masturbate. Can you be spiritual and masturbate?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Yes. That means I believe that you can be spiritual and you can masturbate.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Why do you think that, Donald?
Why do I think yes?
Why do you think no?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay, me too. Okay, so we're both yes. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, masturbation has nothing to do with anybody else but me. Like, it's so ingrained in my self-pleasure. Like, I am not thinking about anything else. And one of my favorite ways to even enjoy it is when I'm thinking about my person. Like, I'm not watching porn. I'm just literally driven by, like, long distance something. I want this person. I'm thinking about them and I'm doing the act. It's never like immersed in like lustfulness of someone else.
That's really healthy though.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's really healthy because it's like you're thinking about someone.
Yeah, it's like it feels more like an extension of like wanting to have sex and be with that person. Right. Now, again, for a lot of religions, sex before marriage is taboo, and I this has nothing to do with that. Yeah. But if we're looking at it from just normal people, like random people, that's what I would think about it. Right. Like, but I think how you view masturbation is from that idea of like lusting over someone. What would I need a person for if I've been doing this to them, if I don't have the control, and in my head I'm like, I never think about it. I think it's also
because like a lot of the things that like entertainment shows us, right? Like from the movies,
it's from the movies that we've watched. That's true.
There's a girl on the magazine, right? Yeah. Which creates like a weird parasocial relationship, right? And then now you're like, oh, have you had this person or do you know this person? And then you meet the person outside and you're like,
oh, hey, because I've been messing around. That's true.
Trying to control that.
But it's like hyperbole.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there are people who are weirdos who absolutely behave that way. Yeah. But there are also people who like don't. Yeah. Like they just don't. Like I remember like I was talking to someone and they knew they know their porn star person's name. Like they know corn star. They know the corn star person's name. They know the corn star's followership. They know all these things. And I might have like, I've never, ever, like I know Mia Khalifa, but that's because she was trending. Right. But that's about it. Like I've never actively had that relationship with corn or corn stars.
I know Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, I feel like everybody kind of does.
In my all boys school, we used to discuss about it.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. So like, I think it's so interesting. Okay,
you
next
know
one.
She's a legend.
Mia Khalifa is a legend. Shut up, Donald.
Don't clip this.
Okay.
If you're in a relationship, self-pleasure means you are not satisfied.
That is not true. Absolutely not.
So I would say,
Donald,
if this is a clip and you've not listened to the main episode, before this episode, I would agree with this. Oh, well, after this episode, Donald, I would say,
snaps.
No,
you're so dramatic. Not the no with the face.
So
no, I don't think so. I feel like the most beautiful sex in relationships are so. Okay, I'll give you an example. So I've been assaulted before, a bunch of times actually, and I don't know why I said it like that. And for me, my reaction to sex has always been very like someone is taking from me. Like there have been a lot of moments in my life where when I'm having sex with someone, I was simply doing it for their pleasure, never for mine. And I actually found that self-pleasure for me was my way of taking my power back in a weird way. I was like, this is something that I have control over, this pleasure. And for a lot of times with other people, I wouldn't come on. This is not a knock to my previous relationship because I enjoyed having sex with them. I can't remember, there was a previous person I was with who I would literally cry after sex because there was a release that always happened that made me feel exhausted, sad, whatever, so many times. And it's just traumatizing to even think about. And I never understood why. And I think about that now and I'm like, when you're in a relationship that's healthy, your pleasure isn't like, we're going to go into the room, you have to have sex with me, It's a lot more intentional. Like playing games with your partner, introducing toys, being excited to navigate them. Like, I want to be able to open my cooch and my partner knows exactly what she looks like, what's in there, what's up there, what's around it, what's like that. There's a level of intimacy that comes with being in a relationship and having a partner who even wants to enjoy you taking care of yourself. I don't think that is a slight on their ego. When I see men talk about how they feel weird that my girl's masturbating or using a toy when I got my dick, so why you gonna need that dildo, put it down? Shut the fuck up.
I actually don't care. I
like
that shit.
I'm like, why? First of all, what happened?
I just realized something.
Oh my God, Donald, tell us.
So when we were preparing to do this podcast,
okay,
I found a cable in your bag, and I'm like, I've seen that cable
before.
I'm like, I've seen the cable before. I knew the charger was for something.
Oh my God, that's my dildo charger. You guys, we got to bring the charger for us to show Donald. Please bring the damn
There's
charger.
There's just a bag on the floor.
We need a story time for this, guys. Let me explain. So Donald calls me today, right? That is crazy. That just, first of all, the fact that you see that charger is crazy.
I've seen the charger before. Like,
give me the charger. Okay, let's explain this. If you're not watching, guys, I have a charger that says Amazon. Oh my God, Donald. Now the lore is even crazy. Let me explain, because now it goes full circle. So it's an Amazon charger head, because nothing ever fucking comes with the charger head anymore. And then I have a cable that has a USB cord at the end, and then he has like the headphone jack ending. Like it has like a circular ending.
And I saw that.
And Donald saw that and was like,
this doesn't make
any sense to him. So Donald calls me and he's like, Sophie, what does this charge? And I'm like, I don't know, a fucking headphone. Because I didn't know, my brain didn't know I even go to it. And he's like, no, this makes any sense, because if this is a headphone, then why would he have a USB jack at the end of it? He's like, this is not a headphone thing because it's also too tiny. And I'm like, Donald, I don't fudge know. You figure it out. He's like, Sophie, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I come over to his house. He's still not figuring it out. You can tell it's bothering him, but he just doesn't know. We're talking right now. We're talking about toys. And I'm pretty sure, because I am a crackhead, and in my house, my toys are always lying everywhere, but also my chargers are too. This is the plug to the vibrator that Target got for the creators. That's how you saw it. Remember? Because like when they got I was like, did Target give me a toy? So Target got us like a freaking vibrator for like some freaking PR gift. Shout out to Target Cosmetics. I love them. They're for the girls. And this is the plug for that. And I actually forgot this damn plug. I forgot the fucking toy in Ghana. I'm so upset. I just thought about that. I travel with my toys. You know that. That was like my travel toy. But guys, this is what this was. And I bought the Amazon plug separately because the toy didn't come with the plug. So I needed to buy that separately for it to make sense. And we're going to do some internet reactions. Okay. So ask some questions. So we asked the internet, how did you discover self-pleasure? And these are some of the options. Someone said, by grinding myself against pillows, climbing the high bar outside in school. Climbing the high bar outside of school is crazy. I didn't masturbate until I was 25, 26, and I only did a couple of times. Just doesn't do it for me. I actually fucking ate it. I wonder why. Every time I hear people say that, I wonder what the root is. Because if you do not find pleasure from masturbating, but you find pleasure from having sex with someone, I wonder what the psychological thing about that is. Like, is it because you have some shame around it? Is it because you just simply don't know how to pleasure yourself? Is it because like, you know what I mean? There's certain, you know what I mean? There's a lot of reasons why. Jetted hot bathtub when I was like 10 to 12. Ended up with a giant hickey on my leg from the water intake.
You see what I'm saying with the age range? It's very interesting.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I was really young and I wanted to replicate what I heard the adults were doing to see what all the fuss was about. They were right.
That's you, right?
No.
That's what you said, though.
It wasn't adults, though. It was my brother. And like my cousins. Well, they're not adults. They were children like us. So I would say that. Yeah, maybe with that. It wasn't necessarily adults. I will say though, my first ever thing that I used to use to masturbate was like my teddy.
How many years is your brother older than you?
10.
10 years?
Yeah.
And you were 8, so he was 18.
Yeah.
He was an adult.
He was it. No, he was an adult. Like,
to you, he was an adult.
No, my brother's always been a child to me. I was so sorry. Even when I was 8, he was my baby brother, man. Even as my older brother, yes. I love him so much though. No, because I feel like my first tool was like a teddy bear. That's what I used, actually. I remember. And then oh my God, the worst tool I've ever used was the bed frame. Yeah, that was crazy. What? Why am I sharing information? Dustin Powell. Oh, wait. How do you know that? Fuck me.
You know what just
like
flashed in my head? You know just flashed in my head? What just flashed in my head is, I remember when I went to this summer school and I saw like 3 girls were walking from their hostel, but they were all like wearing dusty powder all over their body. And in my head, I'm just like, ooh.
I share a lot of shit on my YouTube channel because she's
You
so
know
right. Tolani's behind the camera.
You know this?
Well,
You
I
know
share a lot.
When I read your comments sometimes, like,
You're like, how do they know this?
like, yeah. Like I was reading your comments yesterday and somebody was like, oh, are you sure you're spending too much money on this? Like, do you? And I'm like, why does this person know this? And then I clicked on the video and you were just like, so I paid this amount for rent and this is what I'm thinking.
So I think people hide so much shit. I don't think it matters. Anyways, yes, I also use dusting powder to masturbate a lot. That was so interesting. Sorry, my bad. My earliest memory is from when I was 6. Don't remember the first time I touched myself for self-gratification. Another person said, I discovered self-pleasure when I was left to my own devices in the bathtub around age 8. I'll check to make sure nobody was on that floor of the house and I'll position my vulva under the water. Amazing times. See what I mean by, even when people started it, they started it hiding. Not necessarily like curious. So already there was a lot of shame involved in it. Yeah. But also,
and how are you going to have that conversation with your parents?
You should be able to. I'm telling you, there's so many
like,
kids who have like...
Imagine a 12-year-old son or daughter coming to you and be like, Dad, like I just wanked my thing off.
No, because a lot of times kids pick up from... I swear, I hope to God I am that mom that if my child ever feels a flicker of like, people are asking me this question in school or something, I would rather they hear it from me than somewhere else. Because that's what needs. Like,
they'll definitely hear it from somewhere else.
Your parents are the first. Like, you were the first.
No, my dad.
I know, but like your parents are the first. I'm trying to find the word for it. Like, they're the first people you get ideas from. I don't know how to explain. Like, your parents shape who you are, your upbringing a lot. So if your parents aren't telling you the thing, you're going somewhere else to learn the thing. So I would rather have a child that is coming to me and saying, Mommy, what is this? Someone said, I don't remember the first time I ever did it, but I got in trouble for doing it during nap time in kindergarten. Kindergarten is crazy. Babes, I don't think that's true.
You see what you...
But I don't think that's true. Kindergarten, you're 3 years old. So that's the thing, right?
I think you forget
you are 3 years old.
The world is messed up.
Alexa, do you have an Alexa in your house?
I do.
Where's Alexa? Alexa, answer me. Alexa, how old are you in kindergarten?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Lodo. She's such a not smart woman.
Kindergarten is like the first school.
Kindergarten is
You're
crazy.
like 4 or 5. Right?
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Right? That people masturbate in kindergarten? That's what I'm saying. So imagine like as a child learning that.
People do? In kindergarten?
But that's the thing though, like imagine, because like kids
Honestly,
nowadays know so much. I would rather they talk to their fucking parents about it than hiding out and then getting in trouble in class. Because then your parents can tell you, oh, if you want to do it at home, or don't do it at all, or learn how to do it right. If you don't know what the rules are, how would you function? Like if you don't know the rules of society, how would you know what to do? But guys, this is so fun. All right, this is probably the end of the episode. I think we had some really fun conversations about masturbating. I'm curious to see what your thoughts were before the episode and what your thoughts were after the episode, because I'm really, really curious. And guys, if you love this episode, leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a voice note at amaitooloud.com. See you in the next freaking episode, because I really love this one, Donald, and I'm glad you're back. Oh, we should also talk about the fact that like AITL is going to be traveling soon because I'm going to London. So I'm excited to meet some of your favorite London creatives. So if you know anyone you want me to chat with and bring on the podcast that you also know I have a relationship with, let me know in the comments. I'm really excited for like my London trip. I'm going to be saying in it really, really soon.
If you guys want to see me in London, I'll put my Venmo in the comments.
Okay. All right, guys. Why aren't you coming to London? We have your visa. Your passport isn't ready. Shit. All right, guys. We love you very much. I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye, guys. All right. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to like this one right here.